My mind began racing. What was this doing here? Surely Ryan couldn't do this to me. Then my mind went back to the call. How could anyone even know this? Was it a friend of Ryan's he had told about the phone and they were warning me? I stepped down and turned the phone on. Luckily, there was no lock. I swiped it open and went to the messages. There were hundreds of messages dating back to over a year ago with someone called Jasmine. They had even mentioned me in the texts. Carla's at it again. She's always trying to start arguments, never leaves me alone, one text read. You need to leave her, babe. I need you. I love you. I couldn't read anymore. Tears began to fill my eyes and I could barely see anything. I was distraught. How could he do something like this to me? I ran to the bedroom, threw the phone at him and started shouting. He had no remorse, he just asked how I knew about the phone. I kicked him out that night and told him never to come back. He took what he could and said he would come back for the rest later. I told him he would never step foot in this house again and that I would mail his stuff to his new address. I called my sister, crying down the phone to her. She said she would come and stay with me a few nights in the guest bedroom. She came over and we watched a few films, drank some wine and ordered takeout. It made me feel a bit better, but I was still devastated. I told Lauren that I was going to head up to bed around 11 p.m. I fell asleep quickly, probably the wine's doing. Then again, I was woken by the sound of my phone ringing on the bedside table. I was still a little drunk and had almost forgotten about the call the previous day. I told Lauren about it, but she was convinced it was one of Ryan's friends who felt guilty about knowing he was cheating. I picked up the phone and read the time 3:17 a.m. shown on the screen in big bold white letters, the same time as yesterday. I started to shake slightly and I could feel my heart beating out of my chest. After what seemed like forever, I finally built up the courage to answer the call. Hello, I said, stammering. For a second, the line was silent. Then in that quiet, raspy voice the caller said, he left something behind, under the floorboard, the third one from the wardrobe. The call ended. I called out to Lauren, but there was no answer. She must have fallen asleep on the couch downstairs. I paced around the room for a minute thinking. I eventually went and got the flathead screwdriver from the bathroom and knelt down in front of the wardrobe and counted until the third floorboard. It came up easier than expected. There was a small bag in there. I grabbed the bag, put the floorboard back, put the screwdriver on the side table and sat cross-legged on my bed. The bag contained an engagement ring. The one that Ryan had told me he was saving up for, the one he never got to give me. I looked at it in disgust, just thinking about what he had done to me. I was in the middle of cursing him out in my mind when a small USB flash drive fell out of the bag. I hadn't noticed it before,